when you're dedicated to something, truly, truly dedicated to something, there is a reason why. This is a tool that I just used. I've obviously told you about a lot of trauma, obviously told you about a lot of crap. And in the moment where I literally said to myself, I was like, why are you still doing this? You need to go through the emotional journey of finding your own answer. And me telling you my answer isn't going to serve you for helping you figure out your answer. All I can give you is the clarity tool and helping you determine how to get to your own answer. So, but what you do once you figure out this answer is every time you feel stressed, every time you feel like you can't do it, every time you feel like you don't want to do it, every time you feel like me this entire year, mental exhaustion you cannot fix with sleep. You can only fix it with mental strength and agility. And that is a learned skill. That is a muscle you develop. And if it's not something that is flexed every single day, it gets weak. Hey everybody, and welcome back to #Team Fuego. So I actually wanted to make this video to get real for a second. I post a lot of content helping people use the Equiband. If you ever wanted to make your own little videos, like your fun little video edits, there's tons of tutorials on how to do that with a couple different softwares. So a lot of my content is, I want to say like physical based, where it's really about like how to do these things. Point and cut and dry. Like, this is how you do it. Not like, oh, this is how you feel about it, or this is the emotional toll it's going to take. Like, no, this is just how you do it. So, that's why I just want to get real for a second, because, another part of the equestrian sport is how much of a mental and emotional toll it really does take on you. And, I have had a lot of time for reflection on this year, and that's because it's been a little bit traumatizing. And I'll just kind of rattle off, the things that have happened in the last 6 months. Like, keep in mind this timeline is the last 6 months. I had one horse had a colon get displaced, which for lack of a better term, it means one of his organs went on a joyride and tried to like go up into his ribs, which was quite painful. And the problem is, since it's not a super common thing to have happen, people didn't really, nobody really knew what was going on, and there were a couple really weird symptoms. Anyway, he ended up needing colic surgery and then ended up dying, not like on the table, but like he ended up dying 6 weeks later from scar tissue, because it turned out he also had abandonment sensitivity. And then I came home, and my other horse, who had been rehabbing a tendon injury, had his own little flare up, and that whole rehab got a little bit derailed. And then I had my next horse, like they all kind of took turns. Then I had my next horse cut her entire head open, and now she has a scar like Harry Potter. Granted, it's covered in hair, but honestly, like, she cut like from her ear all the way to her eye open, and tried to show me her brain. For the record, horse brains are like this big, so it wouldn't have been that. I would have had to still look for it. And then the day that horse got her stitches out for her head, I go into the next stall, and my next baby horse has cut her entire leg open, and we're like worried about the joint and the fluid in the joint and all this stuff. And then coming back to my horse that was rehabbing a tendon injury, he was he started feeling sore on his other leg, because when you're sore on one side, like, the problem really becomes like even weight displacement and actually using your body evenly, right? Like, even when something hurts, you really have to use your body evenly to not injure something else. So anyway, long story short, this entire year has been just a series of events that have been, I should also mention that I have had 3 or 4 separate cases of colic. One I think I caught so early that it didn't actually turn into anything, but I've literally had 3 cases of colic in addition to everything that I just mentioned. So um, with that being said, it really takes a toll on you mentally, not just mentally showing up and being there and being, it's not like I've wavered in my commitment. I mean, when my horses need me, I am there and I am there for whatever they need. It's not that. It's the mental agility to maintain positivity in all of that utter chaos. I mean, just chaos. And part of me started asking this weird question that I've never really asked myself before, but it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you still do this? Because it's been a decade now that I have had to pay for my horses all by myself. And that in and of itself is, I mean, for any of you out there, I'm 30 years old, for any of you out there that are, either teenagers in your 20s, in your 30s, and you have to pay for your equestrian dreams, I know that I am a rare breed because it is not necessarily possible if you also like to eat food. And other, anything else. Like, I don't buy new clothes. It's not, and it's a lifestyle I've totally gotten used to. But I was just like, why do I still do this? I mean, back when I first decided, like, when I was cut off, financially, it was just like, okay, I want to do this. Like, there was not a doubt in my mind. It wasn't about how am I going to do this. It was like, no, I'm going to do this. And then I just figured it out because it wasn't like, oh, well, I'll do it if this happens. No, it was like, I'm just going to do it. And since that day, there have been so many off ramps. There have been so many times where I could have just thrown in the towel, where I could have quit, where I could have just said, you know what? My life would be a heck of a lot easier without horses in it. And so that's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today, is just that mental stamina that is required to be a part of the equestrian community. And the reason is because your horses have a piece of your heart. And, I have a couple horses right now. And, this year, all 4 of them have been pulling in different directions on different strings, like really, not just like kind of tugging, kind of like yanking. It's like a tug of war in there. And the reason that the mental thing becomes so hard is because you can't separate your physical and your emotional from your physical and your emotional from your mental, because it's all combined into one. I was a gymnast for many years, and one of the things in gymnastics is you learn to compartmentalize. You learn to compartmentalize your fear, your stress, all these different things, because when you're in a dangerous situation and you let an emotion run rampant, that's when you would get hurt in the gymnastics world. And so in the horse world, though, that emotional piece, it is part of the game. It is literally part of, like, loving your horse is literally part of the sport. And so you can't just shut it off. And so the question is, what do you do when you're like me? And I would definitely say that this year has been quite unique and also extreme. But to have extraordinary goals, you will have extra unordinary problems. And so, the question just becomes, how do you maintain your mental stamina? And I think that the answer lies in my answer lies in why I haven't quit all these years. Why I haven't given up, why I haven't just thrown in the towel when I so easily could have. Time and time again. It's not just, it's like every other week there's like a good reason to be like, just sell the horse. Like, because there's so much value on both sides, right? Like, people wonder why I own a horse that's so expensive, but they don't recognize that if I ever wanted to sell the horse, then I would just have cash in the bank. So, like, it's, they don't look at horses as valuable as how valuable they really are. But anyway, I just wanted to share this little insight with you that I just had, because I totally just had an epiphany. You know, I watched the Olympics. I was that person who was up at 1 a.m., watched every single dressage round, every single cross country round, every single stadium jumping round. Okay, maybe there was one that happened around like 4 a.m. that I like dozed off for, but fair enough. It was just one, and I like woke up like with a shock, because I was like, wait, did I miss anything? And so, but anyway, the whole point is, you know, when you're dedicated to something, truly, truly dedicated to something, there is a reason why. There is a reason that you get up in the morning. There's a reason that you dedicate yourself to it, through thick and thin, and it's not just the love of your horse. It's not like I love my horse. I love all of my horses, but horses don't last as long as people do, especially when they're put through the athletic ringer like eventing challenges horses to do. And so it's really not about the individual horse, and it's not about your love of that horse. There is a real reason why you show up every single day. And there's a way you can figure this out. You basically ask yourself why repetitively. So the first question is, why do I want to be an equestrian? And whatever that answer is, so for instance, if my answer was because I really truly love the connection that a horse and rider develop. And then you ask yourself again, well, why do you value the connection between the horse and the rider? Okay, well, because it's a team type sport, right? Like it's a teamwork, it's a partnership. This is my answer, by the way. It's a partnership that you can develop. That's it's a little bit different than like a relationship, because obviously it doesn't involve any of the physical stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of kissing involved, but it doesn't involve any of that physical stuff. So it's all of the rewards of a true partnership without the physical demands like that. So it's pure. And so then what you would then ask yourself is, well, why is that pure teamwork relationship valuable to you? So you guys get what I'm saying. You basically take your question, why do you want to be an equestrian? And then you ask yourself why, based on every single answer you provide. And when you get an answer, when you get down to an answer where you feel it in your heart when you answer, it usually takes about 6 or 7 times to get down to the nitty-gritty. That is your why. And this is a tool that I just used. I've obviously told you about a lot of trauma, obviously told you about a lot of crap, obviously told you about a lot of struggles. And in the moment where I literally said to myself, I was like, why are you still doing this? That was my why. And and then I asked myself, okay, why? And then, of course, you use every time you ask why, it's based off of your answer. So don't just say why. Like you say, okay, this is the question. This is my answer. Well, why is that important? Why do you feel like that? Why is that your main takeaway? Like when you're asking your next why, you want to dig into why that's your answer. And after you do it once, you'll use it a bunch of times. You don't have to just do it with your equestrian. You can do it with so many things. Like why do you want to keep working for your job? Come up with a good one, because in days that are stressful, that answer will help you. So all I'm saying is, once you get down to your why, your true answer, which I don't want to share mine with you, because I don't want you guys to use my answer as yours, right? Like you need to go through the emotional journey of finding your own answer. And me telling you my answer isn't going to serve you for helping you figure out your answer. All I can give you is the clarity tool and helping you determine how to get to your own answer. So, but what you do once you figure out this answer is, every time you feel stressed, every time you feel like you can't do it, every time you feel like you don't want to do it, every time you feel like me this entire year, you can only fix it with mental strength and agility. And that is a learned skill. That is a muscle you develop. And if it's not something that is flexed every single day, it gets weak. And then in addition to that, I don't know if you guys know the difference between mental and physical exhaustion, but man alive, I would take physical exhaustion any day of the week. Any day of the week. You can fix that with sleep. Mental exhaustion, you cannot fix with sleep. And I'm not saying my mental game is weak. I'm just saying my mental game has been put through the ringer. And so, using and leaning on these tools has really saved me in a way. Because at the end of the day, the relationship I have with my horses saves me anyway. Because it's what drives me. And I know why. Do you know why? Do you know really why? Because knowing that answer might save you too. So I hope this helps. I hope this serves you. I hope that if you're going through something like I am, comment below. Misery loves company, but I tend to lean toward the positivity. So I'm happy to give you more tools to help you deal with whatever you're dealing with, because unfortunately this year I've seen it all. And while I may not be a vet, I may not be able to help you fix your problem, I might be able to point you in the right direction. So at least if the horse is being taken care of, I can help take care of you. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, because at this point, I've done a lot of physical videos and I've done a couple mental training videos at this point, and I would love to hear what you guys think in terms of what you would love to see more content on this channel, because having a mental game, having an emotional game, and having a physical game are all pieces of any athlete, but for the equestrian community, they are applied in their own specific way. And so what you guys want to know more about is what I want to talk about.